Right, we are going to get into the mental health in music segment. I have the wonderful, beautiful, talented Cicely Grace with me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me.
So, how are you, and how has the past year been for you?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, this past year has just been mad, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been both beautiful and exciting, and then it's just been super hard as well. Obviously for creatives, like, it's just been crazy because all of my work was cancelled. All of my work was cancelled, so I kind of had some really stressful times, like when am I going to be able to work next and stuff. But yeah, it's been good.
I want to get into your work about being a photographer in the grime scene. So what have been some of your highlights in your career so far?
I think highlights for me is just the people I've been able to work with and the people that I've met. Not even so much like the big artists, but like the more like up and coming artists, and just like learning people's stories. And then like I think the biggest highlight for me really was I got one of my photos on a billboard, like my first ever billboard. It was sick.
I actually see that on Instagram actually, and I was like, oh my god, that is sick.
It was a bit mad because I did the shoot and I didn't even know that the photos were going to be on a billboard. So I first found out through Instagram, like when everyone else did. So yeah, it was crazy. Like I found out obviously on Instagram, and then I was like, I'm gonna have to go and see it. So like me and my boyfriend, like we like wandered and found it, and it was just like a really surreal experience, kind of seeing it like blown up so big.
Yeah.
Oh,
that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
How did your career in photography start?
You know what, it was a mad situation. So I'd like always been interested in photography, but it was kind of just like a hobby for me. I never really thought it was going to be a career. And I actually worked in retail. So I worked in retail for years, and I ended up getting a new job and moving down to Manchester because I'm originally from Newcastle.
Okay. So
I moved to Manchester for this job, and I was helping manage a store, and like I was just miserable, so miserable. And sometimes when life like pushes you into a corner, like it was just crazy because I was kind of on the understanding of like this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. Like I've got to build up this career in like management or whatever. So I moved to Manchester, and I was subletting a flat, and that situation was really bad, and I ended up, the guy kicked me out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I ended up like kind of homeless because obviously I was working in a different city. I had to be there, so I couldn't just go back to my parents. So yeah, I ended up like living in this hotel room for a month, and it was awful. It was really testing time. But around that time, I kind of been like just randomly like doing shoots here and there, and I got some really good feedback from them. So around that time, like I put on my Instagram, who do you want to see me shoot with next? Yeah. And somebody put novelist, and I was like, oh my God, right. Yeah. Imagine. But like I shared it to my story and I added him, and he voice noted me like 10 minutes later, like,
wow, that's sick.
Yeah, he was like, yo, come to London. I booked the studio for Saturday. So I was like, oh, mad. Okay, like I don't even know how to shoot in a studio really. So yeah, I got the coach to London like through the night, and I did this shoot, and I just came away from it feeling like man, this is what I love doing. This is really what I love doing. And we kind of had like a bit of a spiritual chat because he's quite spiritual, isn't he? So yeah, we just we had this chat, and on the Monday after, like the week after, I was supposed to sign for a new house and stay in Manchester, and I just, something inside me was like, no, like you have to like follow this photography path. You're not supposed to be doing this. Like life's like pushing you out of this place. So yeah, I just rang my dad and was like, Dad, like I'm not going to go back to work ever again. Like kind of move home. So like after that, I spent a year, like I moved back in with my parents, and I spent a year just like traveling to London all the time and like trying to shoot as many people, like shooting for free, just shooting basically. Yeah.
How was that, doing that?
Do you know, I think I made myself so busy that I didn't even give myself a chance to like even acknowledge to even like figure out what was going on. I kind of just went like 100% like, let's do this kind of mode. So Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, that's really, really brave of you to just pack up and do what you love. Like,
thank you.
That is what most people dream of, and look how it's worked out. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you use social media, particularly Instagram, to like gain most of your work. How do you use it so it doesn't impact on you negatively?
I'm still working that out, to be honest, because obviously, like, I run my whole business through Instagram, so it's like, if I miss a message or I don't reply to someone, that could be like a job missed. And then just like, as well, like in terms of actually using social media, like I'm quite an anxious person. Like I hate speaking out loud, you know. And
yeah, and look, I've got you here.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So it's a bit weird, like using Instagram, because obviously the algorithms, like you get a better reach if you speak to the camera and stuff. So I've been like trying to figure that out recently. But I think in terms of like when it affects my mental health, like I think just taking breaks and like turning notifications off is a big thing.
Yeah, that helps me.
I think through lockdown as well, like where I wasn't working as much, I was struggling seeing other creatives getting opportunities, and at that time, you know, I was like, why are they getting it? And it was quite a negative feeling, and I think it took. Another photographer actually tried to draw me out on Twitter and said, you know, like, shout me for better shots, and it took that.
Wow.
Yeah, it took that for me to realize, like, do you know what, it's cool, because I understand why he feels like that, because I feel like that too, but there is space for everybody, you know, and there is space for me and for you, and just because someone has had an opportunity that I want, like, they only show their good parts on Instagram, you know, they only show their accomplishments. So just because I see somebody doing well and doing something I would want, it doesn't actually speak anything about me, you know? Yeah.
And no one takes shots like you.
Yeah, obviously.
Love that. What do you do when you get a creative block? How do you kind of overcome that?
To be honest, I don't really get a creative block. Like, I think photography is the kind of the thing that keeps me going. So I've just got this constant drive, you know, I've got to keep going. So I think mood boarding helps. Like, I use Pinterest a lot, and like all my ideas I kind of try and pull together. But yeah, I think just when I kind of feel like I've got a bit of a creative block, I just have to keep going.
That's really, really interesting. I've never heard anyone say they don't get creativity block. Ooh, you deal with it in a nice way. I like Pinterest as well. Pinterest is kind of, it's so visual.
Yeah,
you
it's
can kind
cool.
of put things together and kind of inspire yourself.
Yeah,
I like that. Do you think that your mood affects your creativity, or can it?
It can and it can't. Like I just said before, like photography is the thing that keeps me going, and I think like when I'm feeling low, that's when the best time is just to shoot, because otherwise I'll be sat in the house kind of just focusing on my feelings. So like, especially because I photograph a lot of people, like it is quite a social like a social environment. So I think like just pushing myself into doing it and like actually leaving the house and communicating. Yeah, I think it helps.
You said that you're quite an anxious person. Can you describe that a little bit more for me?
Oh God, yeah. I've always just struggled with low confidence, just for numerous reasons. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard, especially when, like I said, like my job is so social. Like sometimes I just have nothing to say, or feel like I can't say what I want or communicate well because of the anxiety. So it's hard. Yeah.
Do you feel like you kind of, this may be a silly question, but do you feel like you kind of have to be social because of what you do?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially for creatives, there's that whole thing, you know, if you don't speak up and shout about yourself, then you're going to get left behind kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's your catchphrase on your Instagram?
Shy Ben's getting out.
And what does that mean to you?
So it's a Geordie phrase. Obviously, I'm from Newcastle.
Ben's,
so a Ben is like what you would call the child. Yeah. So shy kids get nothing. So yeah, like I try to live by that, to be honest. I got it tattooed on me, so I kind of have to.
Ah, that's sick.
Yeah, I have to live by it. So yeah, you've just got to push yourself, don't you? You've got to put yourself in that position because no one else is going to do it for you. Yeah.
How do you find it kind of navigating through anxiety then? Because obviously you said you're an anxious person, but you still manage to get up and push yourself. Is that a struggle for you, or is that something that you're used to doing now? It becomes a habit. You feel anxious, but you still get on and do things.
I feel like more so in the past few years, like since I've been doing my photography, I've pushed myself more. I think before that I would just hide away and not be sociable. But yeah, in the job that I've got and the situation I'm in now, like I have to just push through it.
Yeah, I get that. I commend you for that, because it's not easy at all, as we know. Have you ever had like a significant life situation that's really affected your mental health?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked, because I've actually been working through this myself over the past year.
Okay.
Through lockdown, like I think everyone had the same thing where you're sat at home and you're left, because you're isolated, you're left to think about the things that you kind of been putting off.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is actually the first time that I've ever really spoke about it. But when I was 20, I moved to a different city for uni, and I got into a relationship, and it was amazing. Like he introduced me to like all this different music, which is music that I love now, and it was beautiful, But at the same time, like where it was so beautiful on the surface, he was just dealing with like a lot of his own demons and stuff. And he was like incredibly physically abusive, to the point that like he broke my bones, and I had to get surgery on my face. It was a hard situation. So I lived in that situation for a couple of years, and my mental health was like the worst it's ever been. I think I blamed myself. I was ashamed. I felt like it was my fault. I deserved it. So yeah, that was incredibly hard. And then I kind of built up the courage. Eventually, like we broke up and I ended it, and I moved back home. And then I found out that he died. So like on top of all of that kind of like hurt and pain and like muddling through that myself, then I had all of the grief, and like it was hard for me because, when somebody dies, everyone like talks about all the good things. But for me, like that wasn't always that experience, So yeah, I think that affected my mental health like more than I even realised until this year. So I'll be 30 this year, so it happened 10 years ago, and I kind of realised like this situation has kind of like kept me hostage in my own mind for 10 years. So yeah, just like through lockdown, I was thinking a lot about it, and I'm in a new relationship now. Shout out Connor, and he's so kind to me, but I kind of realised like I'm not letting you in because I'm already hurt off this past experience, So I kind of like had to work through all of that and understand like not everyone's going to hate you, Like some people are going to be kind. So I got talking therapy through lockdown, and yeah, it was good. Like it was hard. It was really hard. Like actually speaking about it, because I think the first step in like working through something mentally and working through trauma is to be able to speak your truth out loud, and I'd never done that before with anyone. So yeah, it was mad.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow,
it's cool.
I'm speechless. That's just a really hard situation. Like, what do you think kind of, what was like the straw that broke the camel's back that got you out of that situation, that you thought, I can't be in this anymore?
I don't know, because I think the reason that I didn't leave in the first place, like the first time that it happened, was because like I loved him so much, and I couldn't really admit to myself this had happened. And I don't really know what it was that made me decide. I think it was just like years and years, like 2 years of dealing with it, that I just couldn't do it anymore, really. Yeah.
How did you feel about yourself, like once you'd left? How you felt about yourself change, or did you still feel like you were to blame for the situation?
It took me a long time because so I tried to speak out to a few people. I spoke to his mom, and she kind of told me it was my fault. So that was like, but obviously I understand why she would do that. But yeah, like it took me a long time to figure out like how I felt about myself, and like following that for years, I kind of just like went out and got wrecked, and I kind of dealt with my pain through just like partying and making decisions that maybe like weren't the best for me, but that was just how I dealt with it. So yeah, like I think I didn't love myself much, especially because when somebody tells you, you know, it's your fault or you deserve that, like you take that on.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So I really didn't love myself, didn't really care for myself and my mental health for a long time until I would say like this past few years.
What kind of things did you experience mentally? Do you think the anxiety stems from that?
Yeah, I think so. I think my low confidence definitely stems from that. Because there's something in you, I think, you know, when you allow somebody to treat you a certain way, that's kind of saying it's okay to treat me like that, to that person and to yourself. So yeah, my low confidence definitely comes from that situation.
Yeah. What kind of like support did you have around you? Did you have any support? Did you have a support network?
So at the time, and for quite a long time, I didn't actually speak to anyone about it. I didn't even tell my own mom, and I think she kind of knew. So yeah, I think for a while I had nothing, and that's why it was hard for me because I like took it all on myself. But this past few years, like my mum's incredible. She's really religious, and she prays with me sometimes, and she's got like a really strong faith, and she's kind of like giving that to me as well. So yeah, so my mum is incredible, and my best friend Stevie, she lives in Newcastle, and it's been hard this year because I've been dealing with all this stuff and I've not been able to see her because she's like the other end of the country. But like we voice note like every minute of every day, basically. I'm gonna voice note as soon as I come out of here. But yeah, she's amazing because she's the kind of friend that doesn't you know, sometimes when you share something with someone and they're like, oh yeah, I've been through that. She's not like that. She just listens, and she doesn't try and like give you advice. She just listens, and she's incredibly supportive. And yeah, my boyfriend now, Connor, like he was there when I was going through all the talking therapy. Like I would, because we lived together, and I would sit in the other room and like spend this hour on the phone with this therapist, and then I'd come away from it feeling like, wow, like I've got all of this stuff that I've just discussed, and I felt kind of like just drained. So he was always there to kind of just listen, or just like sit and cuddle me, and not ever like draw anything out of me. But he's been really understanding, because I can imagine like for him it's not easy to hear. So yeah, all them people like that I have now, they're really, really supportive.
Big up your mum listening.
Yeah, big up mum.
A lovely support network. It's always lovely to have your mum on board. What do you think? How do you think you recognise what kind of issues you were bringing to your new relationship?
I think that I would instigate arguments. Like if I felt like something was off, I just want to get it over with, because in my past relationship it was like, well, I know what's coming if we're having an argument. So yeah, for like, especially when I would drink, like I would kind of push to argue, and he's not like that. Connor's not like that. So yeah, and just like being able to be open about my feelings. I already had all this stuff buried in the back of my mind, so I wasn't able to really open up until I'd shared all of this.
Yeah. How did talking therapy kind of help you? Obviously it was difficult at first, but when did you kind of notice a change where you thought, hang on a minute, this is actually working?
So I did a couple of months of it. I think it was like 8-10 weeks or something. And for the first few, I actually hated it. The first session, I had to just explain everything. And after that, it was like, wow, like all of this, I've unleashed all of this stuff now. So it was really draining. And then for the next few sessions, I just didn't want to speak about it anymore because I'd done it. And the therapist, she was lush. She kind of just sat in silence and made me speak. So like, yeah, I found it really hard, like for the first few. And then after that, it was like, wow, there's actually somebody on my side, and like she understands, and there's no judgment here. So it was nice, yeah, like just being able to like speak to somebody who was kind, really. So yeah, after the first few sessions, I felt a bit of a change, and I felt lighter.
Yeah, do you know what, some people are kind of, I'd say against therapy, but they kind of don't believe in it. So
Yeah.
It's nice to speak to someone who says, well, actually, it did help me and this is why it helped me.
Yeah.
And I want to push that.
I think for me as well, so like for this past 10 years, I've tried like loads of different antidepressants. Like I've hopped from one to the other, and the side effects, like they don't explain to you, the side effects are mad. Like one gave me incredibly bad insomnia where I just couldn't sleep at all. And then the next one, like I couldn't not sleep, and like trying to navigate through life and hold down a job throughout that it's a nightmare. So yeah, talking therapy, like I was always quite against it. Like I don't want to talk to some random, but for me that was the right thing.
Do you think it kind of appealed to you at the time in your life that you were kind of at? Because before you said you wouldn't have kind of done it. You think it was a bit like whatever? Yeah.
I think I just got to the point where I knew, like I'd put it off for so long and I'd like let it all build up that I had to do it now. Now was the time, basically.
Yeah. Do you think that you'll have any more, or do you think that is something that you're kind of finished with now?
Yeah, I think I'd like to. Like on the last session, she even said to me, you know, if you ever want to come back again and do another however many sessions, then you can come back and speak to me again, and you know the door's always open, basically. So I think for me, like having that in the back of my mind is really helpful.
Would therapy be something that you would say to people, give it a go?
Yeah, I think unless you can be honest with yourself first, then maybe it isn't for you. At the time that I was on my antidepressants, that was right for me at that time because I wasn't ready to speak about it. But I think once you can be honest with yourself and whatever you want to speak through, then therapy is I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. What was it like, kind of like taking that first step and saying, listen, I need some help, I want some help? Was that difficult?
Yeah, I think the first like month or whatever was like leading up to it. I kind of knew that because I was on a waiting list for a while. So yeah, that was really hard because like I felt all the anxiety and the depression and digging up all these like old memories that I tried to keep suppressed. Yeah, just it was that was the worst part of the whole situation, really. It wasn't until like halfway through or towards the end that I felt lighter.
Yeah. You're definitely glad that you did it then?
Yeah, 100%.
So can we big up therapy, please?
Yeah, big up therapy.
Can we just say that it's something that really does help people, and especially for people that maybe are not doing so well with antidepressants or don't want to take them. That's the kind of alternative with like a lasting effect. Do you think it's had a lasting effect on you?
Yeah, I do. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, tablets or whatever, they are just there to suppress your feelings. So like when I was on them, I never felt low, but I also didn't feel high either. I couldn't like fully feel like excited or happy about things that I was going through. So yeah, it's more of an honest route, I think.
Yeah. If you could speak to your younger self, what do you think you would say to her in that situation that she dealt with?
I think I'd just say leave, like get ready and leave. I'd say that it's not your fault and you don't deserve anything but love. Not everyone's going to hurt you at all. Some people are really going to love you passionately. Yeah, and I think just break the silence, like into anyone else that might be going through like a similar situation. I think breaking the silence is the most important part, because if you're just keeping it to yourself, then you are taking on all of that emotional baggage or whatever. Like speaking about it and being open about it, one, helps you, but then two, maybe might stop the person that has abused you to do it to somebody else or to do it again, you know?
I think domestic violence is something that is a lot more serious than it can appear to be, and kind of early signs can kind of tell you that things can get a lot worse, and it's definitely something that affects a lot of women. And I think we should speak about it a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine, like, well, I know why it's hard to speak out, because for me, like, my main thing wasn't protecting myself, it was protecting my partner at the time, which is like a stupid thing if you think about it now, because people should people should take accountability for their own actions. But I know why people might not speak out, and the fallout of things. You don't want to be a drama person. You don't want to bring all of this drama and have everyone speaking about it. But man, sometimes you have to just do it.
Do you think there's an element of shame then in that situation?
Yeah, 100%. Like when I think about the first instance that it ever happened, like my gut reaction straight away was to try and cover it up, and I don't know why that was. But yeah, I just like straight away was like, right, this is what I'm going to tell people, because I had physical marks, and just it was hard.
Yeah. Do you think that him passing away made it a little bit more difficult to deal with as well, because he was kind of not around to maybe answer to what happened?
Yeah, I think so, because I already had them, like, I was so angry. Like, why have you not apologised? How are you not sorry? And for me, like, him passing away, I'm ever gonna have an answer from him now, and like also his dad was quite famous, so it was in all of the newspapers, and it was all of the internet, and for me it was hard because I saw everybody, and like even now see people remembering him and speaking about him in a good way, which obviously like there was good parts about him, but I didn't have that experience. Like my experience was a bad one, so seeing it is hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that must be really, really difficult. It's kind of like you're screaming at people from the inside and they can't hear you, and
yeah, definitely.
How do you look after your mental health now?
I think, do you know what? I don't think there's any answer to it, because I think as things change in life, like the way that you deal or have to deal with things change. For me at the minute, like routine is a big thing, because especially being self-employed, sometimes I'll have like, my weeks will be so packed that I'll not have time to think, and then other times I'll have nothing and I'll have the stress of like not knowing when my next job is. So routine, like making sure I get up at the right time every day, and having a nice home environment as well. Like my flat, like we moved in during lockdown, so we've kind of made it like really, really nice and homely, and like having a nice space for me to work. That really helps with my mental health. And again, just speaking to Stevie every day. Even when I feel like a little bit off key, it's good to just communicate, because at least you know, like a problem shared is a problem halved. So yeah.
Can we speak about Doom?
I've not actually told my mum about it yet. We got a kitten the other week. He's really cute.
Sorry, Mum. Should we move on from that?
Yeah.
What else kind of helped your mental health? Is there anything that you do outside of photography, I should say, that kind of helps?
Yeah. Like through lockdown, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to do all these things.
I'm going to bake banana bread.
Yeah, I'm going to learn a language. So my thing was crochet. I tried to learn to crochet, and
I can crochet.
I suck. I suck bad. So through lockdown as well, I started learning to mix. Like I've always wanted to learn. And my boyfriend, he's a DJ, sick DJ. He taught me how to mix through lockdown. And I think that for me, that was really cool, because where I turned my hobby of photography into a career, then didn't have something to just enjoy and just do for the sake of it. So just being able to to mix and not care about like, oh, I need to monetize off this, or it doesn't even matter if I'm any good. Like, yeah, I'm really enjoying that.
Are we going to see DJ CG?
Possibly. I've got a guest mix for somebody coming out next month. Yeah, I'm quite excited about that. And then I'm actually playing a live set.
Wow.
Just for my friend's birthday. But yeah, I'm super excited for that one, because I think that's like right at the beginning of summer, so it'll be cool, like one of the first experiences of socializing again, and I get to do something that's exciting. Yeah.
You see, that takes confidence.
I am shook.
You can still be shook, but you can kind of just get up and do it anyway, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Shy burns getting out.
Shy burns getting out.
Yeah.
I like that. It's okay to be nervous, I think. I think if you're not nervous, it's a little bit worrying.
Definitely.
It's something that you can kind of channel into something once you get into the groove.
Yeah.
Oh, so good luck for that.
Thank you.
Interesting. So crochet, no go.
No, I think I need to give up.
How about knitting?
I've never tried it. I thought that crochet looked like a little bit of an easier one to do.
Yeah.
Because you've only got the one needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try it.
What kind of sick things have you done this year, photography-wise? When you look back at your photography career this year and you smile, what kind of things come to your mind?
Do you know what? Like I said right at the beginning, like this past year has been like both hard and beautiful. Like this past year, I've had some of the best opportunities that I've ever had. I got obviously the Billboard. That was like a mind-blowing experience.
Amazing.
Yeah. I got to shoot the behind the scenes for Deep Hour and Skepta's music video, Sniper. Yeah, that was like super fun. I also shot a front cover of Wordplay magazine.
Okay.
I think it was like an 8-page spread inside as well.
Wow.
I shot an artist called Arlo Parks for that, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for me, like when I think about the things that I've enjoyed the most this past year, again, it's just like the people I've met, like some of the people I've shot with, like shout out Tints, like the shoot with him really impacted me because I realised, you know, this person is in this scene, which isn't always a positive scene. Sometimes it can be toxic, and this person's like spending his time like opening up and sharing his story, and like I see nothing but support from him like after that. So yeah, they're the kind of things that I really look back on this past year and think like that was sick. Yeah.
I like to think for every kind of unsavory person, you'll meet like 5 blessed ones, and they'll kind of restore your faith in humanity, especially in the industry that we're in. You can meet some people that are so down to earth, so humble, so cool, and they kind of cancel out the kind of
I feel like those people are often like, you know, the up and coming artists, because they understand like the struggle and they're going through it at the minute, and I relate with that because I'm at that stage myself. So yeah.
Have you still got kind of goals and dreams and aspirations you want to achieve photography wise?
Yeah, definitely. My main goal, like 100%, my one main goal is to shoot a Nike campaign. Like that would just be sick.
They should be sponsoring you right now.
You
can see this on video. They should be sponsoring Cicely.
I know. Yeah. I know that's going to happen. I'm putting in the groundwork, so it's going to happen, and it's going to happen at the right time for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the day that does happen. And then from there, I guess just like keep working with more artists and meeting new people, and yeah, who knows?
Do you think that you'll kind of branch out? I know you're in the grime scene at the moment, and I was kind of conscious of calling you a grime scene photographer, because I feel like if you do want to branch out, people are going to come back and say, oh my gosh, you called her a grime scene photographer and she's left us. So yeah.
Yeah, I've already shot a few other things as well. I shot with Sam Divine, who is a house DJ. She's sick, man. I shot with her last month, and I got to spend the day with her, and she's just like an all-round sick woman, really inspiring. So yeah, I have been shooting like different genres. I've shot a lot of dubstep. That was like the music that I first fell in love with.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd like to shoot a lot more like techno, I think. I quite like a bit of techno.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just beyond music, definitely fashion. I love streetwear, so yeah.
That's so evident in the way that you are. You are so stylish.
Thank you.
I love that. You're welcome. Do you have kind of like a life motto, maybe, apart from Shy Burns Getting Out, or something that kind of, you know, words you can say to yourself that get you through a difficult time?
So when I was a kid, my mum used to sing this song to me called Count Your Blessings. It's just about basically thanking God for everything he's done. So I've like carried that through life really, and now like most nights, like me and Connor before we go to bed, we'll say, you know, say 3 things that you're grateful for. So I try to do that, because I think often when bad things are going on, you know, you realise like, this is awful, but you have to just think like there's so much other stuff to be grateful for. So yeah, count your blessings.
I like that one. How does your mum help with your faith? I'm interested in that.
Yeah. this is like a whole other story. So I was brought up religious, like my dad's a vicar, and I don't go to church now. That I feel like that wasn't right for me, but I've carried what my parents have taught me. I've carried that through my life, and I think it's really helped, like trusting in God, you know. And even on my way here today, I was just praying, you know, like, God, give me strength, give me confidence, because that's what helps me, you know. So yeah, my mum, she sometimes when I'm feeling down or whatever, I'll ring her, and because I can't just nip over because she's the other end of the country, like she'll sit and she'll pray with me on the phone, and it gives me peace. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I find the same thing in prayer. I find it does give you peace. Very, very peaceful. So what can we look forward to in Cicely Grace World, and what's coming up for you?
So a few things. I don't know if I could like announce them, but so I've got this guest mix.
Okay.
That I'm quite excited for. Everyone, if you're going to listen, be kind, because I'm not the best DJ yet. I've been booked for Outlook Festival to photograph there with my Subtle FM lot, so that'll be really cool. I'm praying it goes ahead. Just more shoots. I've got a few press shots lined up. Yeah.
I love that. And where can we find you on social media?
So it's at Cicely Grace. It's Cicely for people that can't spell. On Instagram and Twitter.
You have been absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking me to come on. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you were a bit nervous before, and we're being filmed, so if you're watching this on YouTube. So we were a bit nervous about the cameras, but I think we've done pretty well.
Yeah, I kind of just ignored them.
Yeah. We've just been sitting here having a chat. So
it's been nice.
For my very first interview, I've loved having you on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you being here.